the Eagles are built a little differently than that team. And the Kansas City Chiefs are built big too.
Yeah.
You know, you think about linebackers like Chenal. You think about a guard like Trey Smith.
Yes.
You think about Chris Jones. You think about Dana, the way he's built. You think they're just a big team. So this matchup will be more like it. But yesterday, the Commanders had a few chances in that game to keep it close, which I think they could have done. And I want to, like, hats off to the Commanders for the great season they had. But when you fumble the ball 3 times in a game like that, and yes, the Eagles created some of those turnovers, but you also just weren't taking care of the football.
Yeah.
You're going to have the outcome that you had yesterday, which is like for I don't want to say average team, a solid team with a good quarterback. That's what they ended up looking like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like just a solid team with a quarterback who's a problem in Jaden Daniels. And that eventually ran out for them.
Yeah.
It just ran out. Like they turned the ball over 5 times in the win against the Eagles this year.
Right.
You would think they'd come back in and be like, we are going to take care of this football. Mm-hmm. And that's our only chance to win.
Yeah.
Instead, no. You go on an 8-minute drive to start the game.
Yeah. 18 plays.
18 plays.
Super impressive. 2 fourth downs, I think.
I know, but here's the least impressive part.
3 points.
3rd, 4th down. Yeah. Why on 3rd and 10 are you throwing the ball short of the sticks with time to throw if you're not in 4-down territory? Mm-hmm. It feels like there wasn't a plan when they got down there low, and maybe the plan was we need to come away with something. Yeah. But I'd have much rather done that than kick the ball off, giving the Eagles good field position, and let Saquon Barkley do what he did that first play of the game.
First touch, 1 touchdown. That's incredible. And the link, the atmosphere when Saquon took off like that, it was – at that point, I was like, oh, fuck, like we got something here. It was awesome.
That was also disgusting tackling.
Dude,
it was bad.
It was bad tackling, but he's also –
just like one of the biggest games of your life. And it's just like that's how you start the game. It's just –
the tackling was terrible.
It's just bad. Yeah. It's just bad. Yeah, that's a great play by Saquon, but that's a normal play that should have been made.
Not
whether it was going to be
that's
10
the MVP,
yards.
dude.
Nah,
that's
bro.
not a normal play.
But you do have to get him down. You got 3 people back there. I see what both of you guys are saying. I think, as usual, you're saying 2 different things and arguing.
I'm just saying it was bad tackling, but let's not forget that this is the best player in the NFL right now.
He is, and it feels like destiny. It feels like every time he does something, it feels like you're just like, this is supposed to happen. It's almost like everybody, he scored the first fucking play. How movie script is this? Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of scripted you can't script. The player has to do it. And, like coming out, checking into that play, they checked into it, right? And they end up motioning Smitty, and then you had Lattimore go with him. It turns into a pin-pull situation with A.J. Brown blocking down on Fowler.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you don't spin out of a down block as an edge player, not to get granular, because he knocked Bobby Wagner off, and he crossed too soon. Like, when you get a down block like that and you're the edge player, you have to – and different teams play it different ways. Maybe they give him the ability to spin out, but I don't like that because of what you saw, because then it's 2-on-2 on the edge. Yeah. And if we've learned anything watching Saquon in this team, like, he's the most dangerous guy in the league as far as killing you in one play.
Yeah.
And he's also the guy that you have to commit the most bodies to stop with this offensive line. So he puts you in a real conundrum.
Yep.
And you could tell as soon as they were 2-on-2 on the edge, that alley feels enormous.
Yes.
And the tackling was terrible.
Tackling was bad.
So, I mean, they had a ton of chances, and, here they are. But, I want to say this is the thing that we were talking about yesterday after the game when we were down in the locker room. And I said this to, Howie. I was like, bro, 3 times in X amount of years with 3 different teams, it's not an accident. And if you think about how many real organizations there are organizations in the NFL, there's 32 of them, but not all of them operate like organizations. A lot of them are just businesses that aren't running great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the Eagles, and maybe not first and foremost, there are other programs. Obviously, the Patriots were one. The Chiefs won. San Francisco seemed to have a way of doing things. Like Pittsburgh has had a way of doing things a long time.
The Rams with McVay, maybe?
Rams with McVay, when you get a good coach continuity.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, The Eagles have done it with 2 different coaches getting there, now twice for Nick Sirianni, 2 different quarterbacks, multiple different coordinators. Over the last 3 years, their draft picks the first 3 rounds. I saw this morning. Mitchell, DeJean, Hunt, Carter, Smith, Steen, Sidney Brown, Davis, Juergens, Dean, Smith, Dickerson, Milton Williams. Now, there have been some guys in there that you might wish you could have shuffled around in order and that sort of thing. I think a lot of people are probably a little bit like, hey, Jordan Davis, we don't see the production.
He played good.
But he plays well, and he plays his role. And you drafted a run stopper in the first round.
Yeah.
That's the one. Now, all those guys are contributing, man.
Yeah.
You look at other teams and what they do in the first 3 rounds of drafts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misses.
Yeah.
Right.
And, yeah, they've had their misses, like, in the past, and we don't need to go back down that road. But this is a program that they built. And you talk about the guys they're bringing in. Barkley, Bond, Mitchell, DeJean. All new guys, all AP Awards finalists.
Yep.
As well as Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and who's punching the ball out in the biggest moment? Shipley
Yeah.
on special teams and Zach Bond. And I forget who forced the third one. But by the third one, you're just like, hey, this game's over.
Yeah.
Right.
So
No, the talent on the roster is incredible. And we had this conversation briefly, Chris, is like, we were a couple SoCo limes deep looking at each other and be like, is this team more talented than our team when we won the Super Bowl? And I think the general consensus was, yes, this is a more talented football team. I think there's certain position groups in certain areas where we are maybe deeper, but I think they're overall more talented.
Did you guys happen to see the Gary Owens tweet?
I don't even honestly know who that is.
He's a comedian.
Comedian?
Yeah, white comedian.
Yeah, I think I know who he is, actually.
He says, so the Eagles have a white cornerback, a white safety, and a white running back. Never thought I would see the day. Look at God.
The Eagles have a white quarterback?
Corner. I think
Oh, I think he's a quarterback. I was like, really?
Kenny Pickett did take
I was like, in the 2025 racial draft, we're taking Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, is a fucking winner, man. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Like, this was one of the biggest games of his career. Like, period. That team's not as good as you. If you lose that game, there's going to be people like me saying, hey, maybe you're not the guy. Like, and that sucks. That's the reality in the NFL. It happened to the guy before him. Heavy as the head that wears the crown.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he looked awesome yesterday and, like, just patient.
Bro, that deep ball to AJ on that 4th and 5.
That's
First
the
of all,
game.
I love that call. 4th
I
and
did
5.
not love that call.
I love that.
At the time.
That is.
I was
love
up in the
it,
damn seats. Like,
that is.
Bombs over
I was
bag
just happy to
bag.
see him finally take it.
Yeah.
He was there all day.
Yep.
Like, Lattimore is 100%. But yeah, finally took it and cashed in
It was
there.
a great ball.
He was awesome
Jalen
outside
Hurts
the
played
numbers.
really good.
Outside the numbers, 13 to 17, 189 a tud, 131.7 rating. He's great.
No, but earlier, Chris, you mentioned how this is an organization and they've built a really good roster. The depth on this team is fucking good. Burks had he's my STL Memorial winner, stepping in for Nakobe being injured. We had the stats of him in the playoffs. He had 9 tackles and a sack yesterday. In the playoffs, he has 20 tackles, 11 stops, 2 forced fumbles, and a sack. And this is a guy that was not getting significant burn until injury forced him into playing a lot more, and he's playing great.
But you know what else about that? That's great. It's just that I'm a guy. I'm not gonna lie that I didn't know a lot about Burks, but he made me look more into him because he started that game off on special teams, laying the fucking boom, and jarring the ball loose in that game.
Yeah.
And just like you said, as a guy, if you're on special teams and you can find a way to make plays, when someone gets hurt, like, you're gonna be the first person that the team is gonna be thinking about if you're already standing out somewhere else. So for him to get his shot and next man up mentality, step in and play the way you are, that's always a good thing.